Manchester United 4, Everton 0. A emphatic win for Man United. The word emphatic could barely leave my lips there because I'm so not used to saying it, Ronaldo.
You know full well there was no way I wasn't doing this review.
I was going to say, I was asking
because it's a bit 50-50, but having wiped the floor with Everton, as much as I hate that club and their fans, there was no way I wasn't going to be here for this review.
Is this vendetta for life now, do you think?
Yeah, I think it is. Do you know what? You can keep your brand fight as well. Do you know what I mean? We'll take the 3 points. We'll take some sort of success that they never have. They're actually leaving Goodison Park as well, isn't it?
They're leaving it.
I mean, a bit of it. It's just dead club. I'm not going to talk about them anymore. But until we play them again at Goodison Park and we collect 3 points again. Yeah. But I thought they were poor. But I think we'll talk about more how we played. I know some points in the first half weren't amazing. I think the last 20 minutes of the first half wasn't the best. But for the most part, it was a pretty controlled performance. I know you're probably going to mention XG and the metrics. I see that was probably fairly even, but I think we were really comfortable. And the last 30 minutes of the game was an enjoyable watch. Yeah. So players expressing themselves. I was seeing players smiling. I haven't seen smile in 18 months.
Such as?
The likes of Rashford, even Zirkzee had a smile on his face. Amad Diallo being a pickpocket again. 2 assists. I was kind of concerned that he got injured at the end there. I'm hoping that he'll be fit for Wednesday. Yeah. But I think there was some really solid performances there. And you can already see what Amarim's trying to do. And the fact that we was able to get a 4-0 win against an Everton side that have only lost 1 of the last 6 or 7 league games, whilst also having a bit of an experimental lineup out there as well, because Amarim's chopping and changing. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the performance and I'm happy with the win. Yeah,
I mean, we'll get into the performance and the details of it, Tom, in a minute, because like Ronaldo said, it wasn't all United just obliterating Everton from start to finish, especially in that first half. There was a chunky spell where Everton looked really good. But I think the thing that we spoke about before the game was players who needed a big game. And it was Zirkzee and Rashford were 2 of the names that we said. Both of them got 2 goals today. How important, just from a confidence and momentum perspective, is however they went in, whether it was a Branthwaite own goal or a bit of help here and there, how important was it that they just got on the score sheet today?
Well, massively. I think we've been a bit down on these players, haven't we? For obvious reasons. I mean, performance. I think we're obsessed with it because win or lose, we're never convinced, and we haven't been for a long time. So, but that's quite a normal thing that you're not always just blowing teams away every week, but we've scored 4 goals, and it's reassuring to see that these players that we've been maybe had some question marks about, it's moments of quality that's done that for us. Moments of quality that Everton don't have, that we have got in abundance, even though it's not yet tied together. There was lots of a few issues there that will get better as the weeks go on. But we were talking, weren't we, before the game about the attacking players. What?
Always like this when I'm with Tom there. I smirk at him and he smirks at me back. And it just gets derailed.
Have I said something sexual in there?
No, I haven't.
Was it blow teams away? Is that what it was?
I wasn't laughing at anything.
Right, okay,
all I'm saying is, if me and you were in school together, we could teach us that separated us 100%.
It's the corner of his mouth.
It's just because we're happy.
We are. For once. No, it was great seeing them 2 players getting a couple of goals, and you take that confidence on, and they're going to get better week in, week out with the system. Yeah, and so that side of things, we're going to start to control games better, and the moments are there. We've got them in the tank across the pitch.
I mean, I think we've mentioned the goal scorers. I want to go back to them in a minute in terms of the specifics. But another player that just as the game went on got bigger, and he just had a bigger and bigger and bigger impact, was Amad Diallo, who, again, early on there was a couple of misplaced passes. His touch wasn't at that crispness that it always is, but he's literally won the ball back off their defenders twice and either got an assist in one instance or Bruno played the ball for him. But he's basically created 2 of United's goals single-handedly almost with how he won the ball back. And he did the same thing midweek. That ability to press and do the wing-back role looks like it just comes completely naturally to him.
Do you know what makes him so lethal as well in terms of from the defensive side of things is because we all know Amad Diallo's he's a high IQ footballer anyway, and obviously he combines that with his work rate, and then when you combine the 2, he just almost knows. He works hard all the time, but his pressing is so clever. Just his angles of approach and the way he almost times when to go and pick someone's pocket as well. But then the bit about it is he exerts that much energy. travels a long distance, and then he makes the right decision at the end of it 9 times out of 10. And that's what I really love about him. And I thought he was brilliant today. And he's playing far too well at the moment for him to be moved out of that right wing back position. I think he's almost got it nailed down now. Even though a lot of people like myself have advocated for him to be playing as one of the 10 positions because of the quality that he does have. But he's playing really, really well there. And I think that's probably a position that he's got nailed down now. And Amad Diallo, all I'm going to say is I don't think I will ever forgive Erik ten Hag for his treatment of Amad Diallo, because bizarre, he should have been playing long before it. Enough of Anthony being better in training and trying to force Amari forcing ahead of him and all that nonsense. I'm just glad that Amad Diallo's free now and we're getting to see the best of him and the player that we thought we were getting when we signed a young starlet from Atlanta.
Because when I would, and I typically do this, it's not an Amad thing or a Ten Hag thing, but I'll typically almost leave my judgment a little bit to the manager, because they see 5 times more than we see. What we every 2 hours we see, or 90 minutes that we see, they see triple, quadruple that on the training pitch. So I had assumed that there were reasons why Amad wasn't getting the starts. But since he has been playing, he's been phenomenal. In his last 4 games, I think he's got 2 goals and 4 assists in his last 4 starts. He's got 5 assists in the Premier League now. He's the only, I mean, not the only one, I think Bruno has it as well, but of our attacking players, he's the one who, when he's got the ball and there's a man free and there's a centre-back in the middle of him, I trust him to find that man. He did it with Zirkzee. He weighted his pass and his run the right way. That Zirkzee had a clear shot on goal for that 4th one. But he's just, like you said, it's the IQ of him. And I think pressing is a high IQ thing as well. I know it requires legs, so you almost think of it as this, like, you know, if you can run, you can press. But he does it in the angles he comes from, and he cuts off lanes for players who are on the ball. And it's not a coincidence that 3 times in the last 2 games, he's won the ball back off centre-backs or full-backs, and we've got goals from it every time.
I think the players that he won the ball back off in that moment before they lost the ball, they probably didn't think he was going to dive in, wasn't going to press, that they had a moment. And he just times it so that, I mean, it's twice he did it, and he did it the other day, and he's making a habit of it. He started the season well, Amad. You know, even that first month, didn't he, on the Ten Hag? It is bizarre to see how, you know, little he's been used, because he's the one that I trust. I've got so much confidence when he gets into the final third with some of the players that frustrate me, like Rashford, like Garnacho, so much with what they choose to do when, you know, that final decisive moment where it makes a chance or doesn't. For him, the game just seems to slow down. Yeah. And he's just got something that the other players around him don't. To pick their moments.
Yeah, it's really good.
Another one today is obviously scored 2 goals, and he's come under a lot of scrutiny as well, is Joshua Zirkzee.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I think his performance today definitely deserves a lot of credit. I know we were saying about, especially the first half, you can see everything that he brings in his skill set wise on the ball, like his technical security, some of his touches and his layoffs, almost being like a backboard. He's almost like a backboard striker, and you play off him, you know he can get it back. And I think his touch and pass for the Rashford second goal just after the first half was brilliant hold-up play.
Yeah, it was.
We were saying off the ball sometimes he can leave a little bit to the side. He's not a natural presser. He doesn't get about the pitch loads, but you can see the value he will bring in certain games when you need someone to link up, because some of the link-up play between him and Amad Diallo and the technical, like, short spaces kind of football they were playing together, that was real football. I was looking at it, I was thinking, these men are real ballers, you know. Because I'm looking at Højlund offers something different, but Højlund wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the things that Zirkzee done today. The same way there's a lot of things that Højlund can do that Zirkzee can't. So I think United need to kind of harness the fact that they've got 2 strikers that offer 2 complete different dynamics.
I thought we saw a glimpse of it, I thought, against Southampton. Yeah. That, you know, where Zirkzee, you know, where players were working off him a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not thinking anything about it. There's no innuendo, trust me.
There's sometimes in there where, because like you said, Højlund is more like a sort of a science project or an athlete, and Zirkzee is a little bit more of a kind of art project where it's not as physical, it's not sprints and hard work and all that, it's touches and flicks around the corner stuff. And like you said, the one for Rashford's goal was brilliant, and the pass was brilliant, and that killed the game 20 seconds into the second half. That's the sort of thing that wins you games, because 2-0 and we don't get a goal, and now it's the 70th minute, we might sit back and allow a bit of pressure, but 3-0 like that, the game was done. And there are, like you said, there are problems that he does have off the ball. He doesn't have what Mason Mount has. He doesn't have what Bruno has, or even what Højlund has in terms of his pressing, and he needs to work on that. I think if you want to play more often than not under Amorim, he's going to have to press more. and be more sort of dangerous and helpful when we don't have the ball. But today, when we did have the ball, we actually saw the proper Zirkzee, which is someone who can link the ball up and play really well. Another player, we have to mention him, is Marcus Rashford. He gets stick constantly. We were talking about him before the game, and we were critical of him, and I think that's fair enough because there's not been a lot to be praising of him for. But today, he made good runs in behind. He was consistent with what he did. I thought he worked hard, and he got in good areas and scored 2 goals. That's the sort of performance that I can get behind. Again, I think he only had 16 passes. It wasn't one of them where he's ping passing it in and out, coming in, dropping into midfield, linking the play up. But he was a constant threat. And that running behind for his second goal, if we can see that 7 or 8 times a game, running off the last shoulder of the man, the shoulder of the last man, and getting shots away, that's going to be something that's very dangerous for Man United. I liked what I saw from Rashford today. Did you?
Yeah, I did. I saw he was threatening the last line a lot.
Yeah.
His movement was pretty good. It's funny how hard you start working and how much you start running when you start scoring goals as well. I noticed that when he got a couple of goals and he got his confidence back, you could see he was a little bit more uplifted. He started closing people down all of a sudden, running a little bit more. You just wanted him to get into his game now where things are going against you and there's a little bit of adversity of still trying, not letting your shoulders drop. But 2 goals today, hoping that he can continue some sort of form because we've been worried about the lack of goals that we've been scoring. So I don't know when was the last time we scored 4 goals in a game, and I think we didn't create.
We won 5-0, didn't we, under Van Nistelrooy? But
I mean in the Premier League. Right. I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
No, that was in the Premier League, wasn't it?
No, that was Leicester.
League Cup. So it was Premier League opposition is what it was. Yeah. That was the stat. 2021 against Leeds was the last time we scored 4.
Was that the first game of the season?
Yeah.
Early on, wasn't it?
God, that was a great
first game. We're cashing in the XG today, innit? But I'm hoping that we actually... Because I do think this new system under Amorim and the way we play, I think we're going to be a lot more expansive going forward. I think we'll definitely score more goals.
Loads of space, isn't there?
Loads of space. Just about showing up defensively as well.
I think that second goal, you saw, as you say, the difference it made for Rashford. Because that movement there, the timing of the run, the finish was good because I think he kind of delayed it. I think he considered going across the keeper, decided it probably wasn't right, stuck it through his legs. The first one, deflection can happen, but he'll get confidence from that second goal, and he's a player that needs it.
I think he knew against Pickford, if you just get it on target, you got half a chance.
That's usually what happens. I mean, Rashford now, obviously, he's not been great. He hasn't had a great season, and he just hasn't. He's been poor. But you're now looking at 20 games, 7 goals, 3 assists, which isn't great, and it's not his best. But it's gone from being he's just not scoring at all to even just in this last week, it's gone 10 goal contributions in 20 games is a base to build on, innit? And it's not terrible, but it's not amazing. But I think that you've gone from, if you can have another 2 or 3 weeks where he's chipping in with a goal here and assist there, he becomes a productive player in the squad. And then from there, let's see what he can do. But I'm glad that he's building this little bit of base of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. And we got to see a run of games now as well. Because one thing that we've been obviously very happy about when it comes to Mazraoui is Mazraoui's putting in 8 out of 10 performances week in, week out at a consistent basis, not even playing in his natural position. And the reason why we appreciate it so much is because it's something that we don't often get from United players in recent times. So that's why we appreciate it so much. And we're just hoping that we having players that get on a run of form now and they kind of sustain a level where it's not just like a flash in the pan one game and then they fall off a cliff the next. Obviously there's a lot of pressure on Amorim, but I think the players also need to take a little bit of responsibility and make sure they keep their levels high, game in, game out.
We've got a few super chats. I'll get to them, but before that, let's get to 1,000 likes on the video. If you're watching and there's less than 1,000 likes, hit the like button. United have won 4-0. Let's hit the like button. Abhinav Verma says tomorrow's Paddock podcast will be mint, Ronnie. Looking forward to your Everton slander after it's had a few hours to marinate as well.
Do you know what I mean? I'm putting it in the freezer tonight. You know what I mean? Got to marinate
Getting
tomorrow.
a little bit of cling film over the bowl. That's going in the fridge. That's going to really just...
It's going to be a slow cooker as well. The full 1 hour.
Chic game with 27 months as a member. Thank you. Says this midweek game against Arsenal will be a very good test for Amorim's team up the Paddock. We're going to come to that in a minute because it is going to be a big test, obviously. Duncan AI says this is why Ahmad works better in the wing-back position than further forward. Much more space and freedom to do damage. Amorim knows, potentially, yeah. And again, it comes back to the who else is going to play there argument. Because if Dallow's playing there, who's playing at left back? If you bring Garnacho, I mean, that's not going to work. Rashford ain't going to work there. It's almost like he kind of, by accident, is perfect at wing back. And maybe we'll need him at 10 in games as well, but there aren't really many other options with how weak we are at left back and how the fact that Garnacho and Rashford are just never going to play there, I don't think. Rick Murray says, Ten Hag's tactics were 4-2-3-1 to the players. This is your position. Try and hang around in this area. Good luck to you. You know, who knows? I'll name this podcast later as gifted a Stretford Paddock membership as well. So congratulations to whoever got that. Thank you very much, mate, for that one. Let's look at the league table and look ahead at Arsenal a little bit as well. So United up to 9th now, within spitting distance of Europe.
What's the point gap to top 4?
Yeah, so the point gap to top 4 as it stands is 4 points behind Brighton on the same games, but Man City are also on the same points as Brighton, and they have a game in hand, and they're currently 5th. So it's probably going to be looking more like 6 points off top 4, which, you know, Chelsea have won again today, so that's fair enough. But it's that gap up to the places around there. So United on 19 points, and above us, all on the same games, is Brentford on 20, Tottenham on 20, Nottingham Forest on 22. So that's the next sort of set of teams to be looking at. But obviously we've got Arsenal away midweek, so we'll have to wait and see. On the Arsenal game, are you expecting to see sort of radical differences? Do you think it's Casemiro and Mainu out, get Ugarte and Bruno back in there for the legs, or how do you see it lining up?
We need some legs, don't we? It's come a bit of a tricky time, obviously. I know some of them players that have been suspended, like Mainu maybe wouldn't have started on Wednesday, but I'm a little going to Arsenal at this current moment. I feel like Arsenal are going to start going through the gears a little bit, so I don't want to be too critical of possibly going there and you know, struggling a bit, because as you've seen today, a better team might have, you know, put us under a bit, you know, they could have taken the lead in that game, Everton. So tricky time to be going, but I don't know really. We've had, how many games has it been? Is it 3? Yeah. 3 different. Yeah. You know, he's made quite a lot of changes each time.
We've looked different in each one, haven't we, to a certain extent. Yeah, also, worth mentioning, Mainu and Martinez both suspended for that.
Yeah. Mount will probably. I won't be surprised if we see Mount in there.
No Mainu and no obviously Martinez is a blow, but I think Luke Shaw can play there. Hopefully he has one of his strong games to kind of replace him there. Shaw can do a lot of the same things, but he doesn't quite have that same dog in him that Martinez has, which might be a little bit different.
But from a counter-attacking perspective, some of them balls,
he's got more legs, but probably better channel defender. He can almost support the low on that side against Bukayo Saka. I think that's the side that Saka and Odegaard are going to operate in, so we need to be good there defensively. As for the midfield too, definitely going to need more legs than today, because I thought Casemiro and Mainu, I think as a pivot, they probably struggled a little bit, especially off the ball, because both of them are not known for being the most athletic, and I think we do need a bit of Ugarte's legs in there anyway, regardless of if Mainu was available or not. But I think today now, because Mainu's not available, I would have liked to see Mainu and Ugarte in there, but I think it's probably going to have to be Casemiro again. And I think Casemiro struggled today, and I think he struggled in both the games that he's played under Amorim in this system. So I don't know what it says about him.
The one thing in his defence, and I agree with you, is that he's played alongside Mainu and Eriksen in those 2 games. I'd like to see how he looks alongside a Ugarte, or, I mean, obviously you're losing a little bit in terms of on the ball ability, but he's been next to sort of slower players.
I think he struggles whenever he's on the pressure now.
He does.
But I think one thing that will be a major plus point for Casemiro playing is we're going to need all the set piece players that we can against Arsenal. We know how good they are from attacking corners and set pieces. So having Casemiro there is someone that's good at that. Absolutely. Will help us defensively on that standpoint, because I'm not going to lie to you, that will be important against
them. And you think Maguire might come in?
I think it could be a back 3 of Shaw, Maguire and
that's right.
And De Ligt.
Oh really?
I think I know it might sound a bit nervous, so I think we might have to go a little bit more pragmatic against Arsenal. Or it might sound like we're throwing the white towel in, and we should be focusing more on our game and building our game model rather than changing it to Arsenal. Yeah. But I think
it's natural to make changes.
Just natural sometimes.
Going away to a
Well, luckily, other than the people who are suspended, because we could rotate. Bruno got a bit of a rest. We saw other players come off as well, get a little bit of a rest. We'll have people fit, hopefully.
Just think we're going to need height.
Yeah,
we're going to need more height against Arsenal.
Yeah. Clark Kent with a super chat says, clear, 2 penalties denied. Rashford and Zirkzee hat-tricks in my book. Ahmad is the heart of the team. So proud of the boys today, and up the Paddock. I think that's a nice place to end it.
Yeah,
a lovely comfortable 4-0 win. The last 20 minutes we were just shooting the breeze, chatting, enjoying watching football. It doesn't happen very often, so let's enjoy it while it lasts. Thank you very much for joining us. You'll hear from Andy Tate, we'll hear from Stephen Howson, and me and Jay will be back as well to analyse exactly how Manchester United won that game and how we are looking under Ruben Amorim. Thank you, Ronaldo. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Owen, for joining us as well. Hit subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you in a bit.